Hello, this is Dick Warlock, Michael Myers from Halloween 2, and you're listening to the Timo and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in mind crime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben Hellhound Harley.
Oh, that's me, my man.
That's right.
Hellhound, that's right. More like Huckleberry Hound.
Well, darn it, I could have wrote that one down too. That works real good. I think I used that one a while back.
You have, yeah. I think you have.
Yeah. Let's see, Mr. Ben Harley. Little update here on Angie's cancer journey, as you will, whatever. We got met with the new doctors. Okay. Even got some confirmation from some nurses and things that we are making the right decision.
Yes.
I am Timo. So in a very important doctor's meeting, we were discussing switching doctors and stuff. And I looked at the new doctor, who's a very nice looking lady, around our age, which is nice and everything. And I looked her dead in the eye and I just said, he's a dick. And just like I do on the show, and that pretty much said it all. So, but we're very happy with that. So we're starting to get set up here now. As we are recording this, I still don't know if Angia is going to get to come to Retro Invasion weekend, May 31st to June 2nd, up there in Cleveland. But
we're working on it.
We're working on it. If she can, that's going to be great. If she can't, I do believe I am still going to come and represent. But I told Angio, I said, if they don't want you to wait that long, I think everybody would rather see you at next year's Retro Invasion weekend.
Yes.
And the one after that, and the one after that. So if that's what we had to do, that's what we had to do. So it just means I might have to drive by myself. And,
Sure. Well, you guys are, used to driving together and stuff too, and traveling together. And plus, we water there.
Oh yeah,
we water here for many years. Is the main thing.
Sure. And so, but that's where we're at right now. The main thing is that the diagnosis hasn't changed. She does have to have chemo and radiation. Yeah, like for 6 weeks. Not the biggest dose. Her hair shouldn't fall out and stuff. It sounded. I mentioned last week that Cassie DePaiva. Bobby Joe from UW2 had talked to Angie about treatments, and it really sounded like Cassie's treatments were a little more rough even than Angie's are supposed to be. Not that one's better than the other necessarily, but we're hopeful that this won't be. I tell you what, the infection she had that almost killed her, I think set a precedent for pain and suffering that the chemo and radiation can't even come close to. It'll be annoying and it won't be great. But that was pretty bad. Bad.
Yeah, so that's really bad.
Actually. The good news is I think the surgeries are done for a while. So, so basically we have to go through this, and then I think they monitor and see what happens after that. So it's a journey, and as Cassie said, trust the journey. So I'm going to do that, and so that's what's up. So hopefully next week we'll let you know. I'm hoping for sure whether or not she can come. I just want to know. We just want to know for our for planning things and stuff, so, but she'll be finding out.
Keep us all posted. I know
we'll do. Yeah. Now I do know there's some crazy whack job clowns. A Circus of Pain. Are they going to make their appearance at the Retro Invasion?
They better be making their appearance, or they might just be getting a whooping from the potentate of hate. So, all right. That guy, you don't want to see that guy do the Southside Shuffle.
No, it just means he's done cracked and lost his mind. That's why you don't want it to happen. Right. Yeah,
right.
To happen.
Hopefully, go lay down.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see the whole circus.
Yes,
under the big
That's
top
what we're
there.
Planning.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Very good.
Very excited about that, Timo. Yeah.
Okay.
And been on a circus freak out a little bit lately here, so I'll let you in on that a little bit later.
Okay. Yes. Well, we're gonna have Bob Kurtzman and Danny Hicks talking some Intruder.
Aha.
Looking forward to seeing him. We haven't seen him in since last
It's
year,
been a
I
while.
guess. Yeah, it's been a little bit. Yeah. So
Yeah.
gonna see him, and then it's gonna be a good show. Just a really good show. Got a good guest lineup. More of an
really excited about seeing Danny.
Yeah,
too.
I am
really
too. I am too. So that's why. That's another reason I'm hoping Angie O can come, because the whole gang's gonna be there. DVD Bob's gonna be there.
Yeah,
Jerry from
Bob
Synapse is gonna be there hunting some good times now too. You know,
we get to see old school Cinema Joe.
That's right.
Well, he might be running around like crazy, so we might get to say hi.
Why is that? Why would he be riding around?
Running around.
He's running the show. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about nothing. This stuff just runs itself, Mr. Ben Harley. This is low stress.
Just sit back and catch or collect the money, right?
Yeah,
sit back and watch it roll in.
Just roll around your hotel room on dollars and stuff, you know,
and hookers and cocaine, and
these shows run themselves. They're low risk, low stress. Trust me. Yeah, if if he doesn't have gray hair, like I think me and you, Mr. Ben Harley, are me and you kind of like turning into ash gray? I think both of us look about the same, right? So we're both.
Yeah. I'm trying, to shift away from that, but it keeps happening.
Once it starts, it can't stop. I'm telling you, it can't stop. I started in my 30s, and you can't stop. So now I have most of my hair. Now I do see little Warner Brothers witch sprinkles falling off my head every now and then. I'm a little stressed, so I might be losing a little bit, but
witchy poo.
Right. Yeah. But it's gonna be a good time. Retro Invasion weekend. We are sponsors, Mr. Ben Harley. We're sponsors.
Yes.
Looks like celebrity guests too.
Was it Timo and Harlette? I think so.
The Timo and Harlette show. Yeah.
I finally said, "Boy, we finally made it, Timo," and then you sent me a message back saying, "Well, they spelled your name wrong." Basically, I'm like,
called you a harlot.
A harlot, man. Yeah, what stuff is that?
You don't call my friend Ben Harley a harlot. He's a harpy. Get it straight. Right. He's a harpy. He's a queen of the harpies. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna have a good time, Mr. Ben Harley. So let's.
We're gonna have a great time.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're in full force. If not, that's not the worst thing. If we're not there, it's just this means Angie's getting set up with her stuff before anything else can happen to her, basically. So
right. Yeah.
So we'll let you know next week. If that can happen or not. Let's see here. Did watch a few things. Now, finally, Angie and I are doing what we thought we would be doing for the last 3 weeks, which we haven't been able to do because for 2 weeks we were in the hospital.
Yeah.
We did chill together, hang out together, and watch some stuff while she's getting better from her surgery. It takes a long time after hysterectomy to be able to get around again. So,
so
I've been trapping her and snaring her into what I'm watching. This poor thing. It's gotten worse, Mr. Ben Harley. We're so damn in love, and she looks at me. I just look at her like I'm just kind of holding you here. It's kind of creepy, isn't it? It's kind of creepy. You're just missing a chain. Like chain of the floor or something. So let's go through this. So first up, Mr. Ben Harley from 1977, and Angio actually picked this out of a small group of films, but she picked it out.
Okay.
Damnation Alley.
Oh, yeah.
George Peppard, Jan Michael Vincent, sci-fi classic.
Yeah. Love that film.
Yes, it was fun to watch. It was much needed. It was one of those nights where it was a perfect movie to watch.
Yeah.
For that night. The car was cool, man. That was really about it. That's a fun old clunker of a movie, isn't it?
I love that one. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid when that would come on, that was like was just one of those where you had to sit down and watch it. It wasn't like, it was in passing, like, Damnation Alley's on. Like, oh my God, Damnation Alley's on. It's just love that movie. Yeah. It was just different at the time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was right in our wheelhouse for kids our age at that time.
Yeah, it played. I mean, that was on network television too. I mean, it played. Yeah. It played a little bit. It played. So I agree. That's what I was telling the NGO too. I said, when we were kids, they would show this on network TV every now and then, probably to make the money back that didn't make at the theater, but it was fun. I mean, because you're right. It had a little bit of everything. It had sci-fi, a little bit of horror. It had cool, like futuristic looking machines that drove. Like I don't want to call them a car, but like the big tank thing. The kids we all remember the big tank thing they were driving around. Right. Yeah, I mean, the big car thing, that's what was cool about it. So it's hard to get over that. Kind of like the evil robot car that would attack the $6 million man. Those are always the best episodes because you're like, I don't know what the hell that thing is, but man, does it have a lot of claw arms and things. Let's see here. Speaking of robot arms and stuff, Mr. Ben Harley, from 1958, Angio and I watched The Colossus of New York.
Ooh, okay.
Another robot freak out.
Yeah, another robot freak out for sure, man. What'd you think of that one?
It was okay, man. Going back and seeing that one, that's a fun 50s one. I like that. So it's got some neat sci-fi stuff. I kind of like some creepy moments when they're trying to dial his voice in. We reviewed this. I don't remember how well you remember it, but it was like it was the guy from Wild Wild West, the guy that played Artemis. He was a scientist who got hit by a car, and his dad or father-in-law or something puts his brain piece into a robot, basically. But when they're dialing in his voice and stuff, and it's got the weird like feedback and stuff from the electronics. Oh man, it's kind of cool. It's a little different. So I always remember that part. It sticks out to me. And then he goes haywire, ape shit too. That's fun too. That's a good time. So
that's always fun.
yeah. It's a good time watching that. From 2018, watch the movie Overlord. I don't know if you've heard of this or not. This was kind of a bigger movie. It's a Paramount movie. It's a World War II horror movie.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, well, it's got a couple of Game of Thrones actors in it. It's a World War II, like a Nazi monster serum movie.
Okay,
so
it's got that going for it.
Well, right. So it starts off with a pretty cool scene where they're going to be paratrooping behind parachuting behind enemy lines. Basically, okay. So you've seen this stuff before too, and of course the plane gets shot at and stuff, and it's not a fun trip down to the ground off the plane. Well, they have a little mission. It's basically a suicide mission to go destroy this bunker that the Nazis are using for some nefarious reason. Yeah. Well, they find out the nefarious reason is serums that are making unstoppable zombie monsters. Basically, now these zombie monsters, though, they keep their brains and stuff. So it's not like they're, it's like, I'm going to destroy you. It's like more Snidely Whiplash serum than it is monolith monster serum, So, the problem, it's really made well, but it's a bit long. It's like almost 2 hours long, and it makes it long-winded. As a matter of fact, like I went back and watched it yesterday at the end of it because I thought I'd fallen asleep through most of it. I had not fallen asleep through most of it. I just forgot it in 24 hours. I fell asleep maybe for 10 minutes of it. That was it. And I really didn't feel like I missed much. What it was that there was just nothing there to chew on.
Okay.
It was it's just a bit dull story-wise. And it's really not a new idea. It's basically just a more expensive version of things before it. Paramount put this out. I think it was like a $30 million budget. So it actually had a respectable budget. And a lot of these Nazi horror films are pretty low budget stuff. Yeah. And they've been around since, I think the Italians were doing it back in the 70s too, and Zombie Lake and things like this.
Italians.
Yeah. So this stuff's been going on for quite a while. And so this is I don't like maybe World War Z is a big budget zombie taking over the world movie. This would be a big budget Nazi horror film, in a way.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
It's just like, it doesn't exhilarate you. You're ready for it to take you, and you watch the whole movie, and this is something missing, and maybe it's just an age thing, and maybe it's just a generational age thing where I'm just not connecting quite as much. But I did not hate the film, and Angio had the same reaction. Angio was like, yeah, it's okay. It can lull you to sleep only because lots of sizzle, not a lot of steak.
See, that's the thing too. And that's a problem sometimes. It's just, I don't know. I hate to be like this, but because I like technology, it's cool. Right. I happen to be using it right now. Right. But I think a lot of times we don't see the forest for the trees, right?
Right. Well,
it's just, and it hurts these films. Right. I'm really aching for a great story, man. Like, me too. Just to fascinate me with story, and then sight too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You need both. And so this movie basically, it's like it's a lot of practical effects. So they made it old fashioned. It's just the story. I'm still telling you, Ben Harley, and you just said it. You just articulated it, and I've been saying it too. We've both been saying it for a while. All the tools are there to make these great films, except nobody's bothering with the creative stories anymore. They're just wanting to remake a movie and making them worse than they were in the first place. So anyway, when this movie is, at least this movie isn't a remake technically of a certain film. But I've seen The Bunker. I've seen a lot of movies over the years like this that are very similar. Okay, it wasn't terrible. It was okay. I could see why people would enjoy it more than me, maybe. Let's put it that way. I just didn't really grab me. So last up, Mr. Ben Harley, and I really want to talk to you about this. There's a short little thing on maybe like a half hour long on Amazon Prime called Is Bigfoot Killing Deer?
Asshole. You
Well,
better not.
my short answer is no. At least not these deer.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, you have another city guy who's going out in the woods and he's filming himself.
Yeah.
Yes, he has a beard. Okay, let's get this out of the way. He has a beard.
Okay. Whew, shoot.
And
worried about that.
he gets like shots of deer, which freak him out. He's like, "Oh, see, you would never see this if you didn't come out. I got deer walking, sniffing me in the face while I was smoking cigarettes on my front lawn. Lots of squirrels, fish flopping in the water. Like, okay, so he's doing this thing where he's doing a selfie shot, and he's talking to the camera, and there's a bloop in the water behind him.
Yeah.
And so clearly something threw something in the water, except for the giant trees that are hanging over the water. I'm sorry, but things fall out of trees. And while he's saying all this stuff, there's it's clearly like fall or something. There's leaves falling off the trees.
Okay.
It's like, you can't, I understand you might live in an apartment in lower downtown Manhattan or something, but I mean, come on, man, look up. I mean, there's a tree right there. A squirrel could clearly drop a nut out of the tree.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I know. So, it's one of those things. It was a little frustrating. The guy just goes around and he says he's had these experiences out in the woods, and this is exactly what I'm not interested in anymore. This documentary is. It's a guy. He's going out. He's camping overnight or something like that. He's looking around, but he's just looking at things that are just normal things in the woods, and since doesn't dwell in the woods, he just doesn't know what he's seeing.
He's fascinated.
Yeah, and hearing, by the way. He doesn't know what he's hearing at all. Stuff like that. So, but it's interesting. It's almost like yelling at the television kind of a show.
Yeah.
You're like, you idiot, knock it off. Yeah. Come on. And he finds these deers and they're kind of like picked clean and stuff. I'm like, dude, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what could kill a deer? I don't know. A coyote? A bobcat? A mountain lion?
Yeah. There's a few things out there.
A boar?
A car?
A car? Well, that's a little far out in the woods for a car. I'd be more shocked to see a car where he works than a Bigfoot. Yeah. But I'm just saying, so it's one of those documentaries though, where it's like, we don't need your help. And I get what he's doing, but I mean, I just think that I'm more interested in the park rangers and shit that are way out in there that are used to being out in this environment. Those people draw my attention a lot more. Even people like Jeff Meldrum who are out in the woods. Look, let's be honest. I mean, he's a professor. Yeah. He's not a mountain man. No. And although I appreciate, his intelligence and his open-mindedness and looking at this stuff and saying there might be something here, Sure. I just want a woodsman out there looking for this stuff, because those are the people that really you listen to. You know what I'm saying? You really listen. If you want to know about the stock market, okay, you're probably not gonna ask Axl Rose, right?
Well, no.
You might ask Charlie Rose, but not Axl Rose. All right, you might want McNeil and Lair, whatever their names are, but you're not going to ask him. So it's kind of like one of those things. But I just had to mention that. I just watched this thing roll in my eyes like, come on, man. I'm sitting in the sunroom looking out, and the same things are happening right outside the window that are happening to him on the screen. He's freaking out. Like, everything's a Bigfoot. Everything's not a Bigfoot,
Right.
I mean, a Bigfoot's a very large, 8 foot tall, 900-pound hairy man. It's not a squirrel dropping a nut out of a tree.
No. No. Wait, did you hear that? Wait.
Right. I don't think a Bigfoot would also sit down on the ground and eat a deer where it lies.
No.
Pretty sure it'd pull it somewhere and eat it because it could. Exactly. Out of the way, maybe, of prying eyes and other things that want to eat the deer. I don't know, but
Weekend warriors. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and that's what this stuff is. I mean, it's a good way of putting it. We've gotten to weekend warriors now and stuff like that, doing this stuff. Yeah. And you don't listen to, you know what? Watch Survivor Man.
Yeah.
I think that Survivor Man show is probably the best represent. If you want to talk about the side evidence, like the stuff you can't prove, like the noises and tracks and things, somebody like Les Stroud, I think, is better because he spends a lot of time out there. Now, how much he spends, I don't know. He's a television guy. He could just spend that. It could not be much. But ironically, if the mountain monster guys were real, I'd actually trust them a little more than the Finding Bigfoot guys. But I just know something tells me, Mr. Ben Harley, that show was fishy. That was fishy.
I wonder. Well, I guess I shouldn't wonder what happened to that show. But
yeah. So that was that, Mr. Ben Harley, and that's all I got. But I just the Bigfoot thing. It was like, I'm just, boy, it's almost like you just want to turn it off for a while.
Yeah,
it's like this. It's like overload. Like, look, it's just possibly some rare creature. There's not much more to it,
right?
I mean,
no.
I don't see much coming out that's very compelling, that's doing anything, that's adding really or subtracting to anything. Right. It's just kind of stale, so it's like I just kind of want to like let it go for a while until something new happens. Until then, I'm just going to keep it in the back of my head because we're starting to get to see shows like your Chokeweed show and
wait, there's one talking to me right now.
I know. I got my frequency. It's down. Let's not start it. My frequency's down. But so it was not too good. We need some new stuff, or just let it go for a while.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah.
So what do you?
I haven't really heard anything good recently. And I don't know. Some of those movies, I'm going to try to delve into some of them. We'll see. But Timo, I've. I was mentioning earlier, I've been kind of on, and I know this is a horror show, right?
Yeah.
But, me and my little documentaries, I've been on somewhat of a circus freak out a little bit, right? Mostly because, exactly. Exactly.
We haven't gone back to that in years.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Your history is a carny. I don't think a lot of our newer audience know that Ben Harley had a dream. He had a dream that was unfulfilled. He wanted to be a carny so bad.
Wanted to be a carny, yeah.
All right.
Just, hey, I'm still working towards it. Right?
I hear you. So you're getting back to it then. You're getting back to it. So tell me about it.
Yeah, well, Timo, I've been trying to keep up, being the manager of the Circus of Pain. I'm always trying to progress forward. And I happened to find on Netflix, they had a history of the circus, like part 1 and 2. Now, I hope there's a part 3 and maybe 4, because at the end of part 2, it ended in like the 1940s. And I swear to God, I saw the circus. Lots of circuses, even the Barnum and Bailey circus.
It was just a bear. It was just a bear you saw. Don't worry about it. Now, Tim,
I'm a guy whose parents. Now, this might shock you.
Okay.
Since I dress, because I do dress with a fez and all, but yes, my parents were in the shrine. Now, the shrine.
The Shriners. There were Shriners.
Shriners, right. Yeah, people. Now, Shriners help a lot of burn, victims, and also kids with afflictions like my daughter Ruby and
Shriners
also,
Hospital. Shriners
exactly.
Hospital. Yep.
Yeah, and so anyways, I've seen a lot of circuses, Timo. I've seen a lot of shrine circuses. I've seen lots and lots of parades with circuses and stuff. So I was interested in it mostly for the fact because I'm trying to learn more things for the Circus of Pain. I like the pageantry of the whole thing, and I think that really helps us out a lot. The chaos of it and everything of what we're doing. So I want to learn a little bit more. But these documentaries, I think they're PBS ones. They weren't too dry. They were actually pretty good. Now they're long. They're like an hour and 50 minutes each. So you might, if you do watch them or whatever, you might want to. Yeah. But what's really cool about these is like, they talk about nowadays, big pharma and big oil. Back in the 1800s when P.T. Barnum and them got going and stuff, it was big circus, baby. It was, that was like huge. I mean, those guys were big deals, like Rockefeller big type stuff, So
it was a legit answer when you'd ask a kid back then, what do you want to do? It was like, I want to run away with the circus. That was kind of like going to college.
Yeah. And I learned something too the other day too. Like there was the elephant Jumbo. There was the elephant. Now when you think of Jumbo, that's became into our lexicon. The word Jumbo came from Jumbo the elephant. I didn't know that, which is kind of cool. Anyways, I was really trying to inspire myself, and it did, mostly by old photos and other things. But they were really good documentaries, a lot of tragedy in that stuff too, And
Right.
and Timo, I'm preaching to the choir when I talk to you. You were traveling. I won't say you were a traveling salesman, right? But you traveled to sell your goods, right?
Yeah,
As a
kind
rock
of a
star.
gypsy. Yep. A
Yeah,
bit of it. Yep.
exactly.
Always say with
And it's a
gypsies.
hard lifestyle.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not as glamorous
No.
as it looks. And these, man, I could only, they were showing a lot of, the people that traveled with the circus, and stuff, and just the hardships that they had and things, but really well done documentaries. I enjoyed them. It gave me a lot of inspiration, like tons and tons of inspiration. So that's kind of why I stuck with it a little bit, and I'm not a ringmaster by any means.
Not yet.
But but I do like to cause chaos and a little mayhem. But very good stuff, Tim. If you get a chance, I know you don't have Netflix, but you might be able to find it. It's but it goes through like the whole P.T. Barnum, and then how him and George Bailey, was it George Bailey? I think got together, and then also with the Ringling Brothers, there were 5 of those guys, and they were just it's like having 5 P.T. Barnums, and your brothers, you know what I'm saying? And it was just interesting to see the whole progression of it. But yeah, a lot of tragedy too in it as well.
Yeah, I've seen
Fire bad.
Oh yeah,
Fire
yeah. Well, yeah. There's lots of straw in the canvas and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've seen quite a few. I know some of them. They even tied him in with Ripley and stuff like that, like the old ballyhoo, basically and stuff like that. So
a lot of the sideshow. Now I didn't get into too much of that, but there is a lot of that in here too. But that was a lot of, like it or not, for a lot of those people too back then, it was a place for them to. Yeah.
Oh, the sideshow people?
Yeah.
Look, I'll tell it to you straight. Yeah, the do-gooders basically put them out of work. They were making more money than the people who were feeling sorry for them, and they loved it. They were fine. They were with their own people, and it was all the do-gooders that put them out of business and basically put them in the poorhouse. Those people were rich. Half those people owned part of the deal. They owned part of the circuses, the ones who were being
because a lot of them were the big attraction.
You know what happened, Harley?
The attraction. Yeah.
Honestly, the Elephant Man. Yeah. When people saw the Elephant Man, I think I know it was like 1980, and this was going on before that. Yeah. But really, that's what put the nail in the coffin, if you ask me. I know this was before. I know it was before when they started going against the freak shows and stuff. Yeah. But that just put the nail in the coffin. And if you watch the Elephant, you get a good example, the stereotype of the circus and the circus freaks and stuff like that. But in reality, if you see like the people in Terror of Tiny Town, and if you watch like the movie Freaks and stuff, those people, they weren't poor. They weren't hurting for money, at least. I mean, they had a bad rap in life, but they made it into a good thing. And we came in there with our white gloves and our, oh dear, these poor people. Let's make sure this never happens. And then what? Yep. And did you do anything for them afterwards?
Nope.
No. You took their jobs away is what you did, you dicks.
Well, they did that too. And I didn't realize this how early on too. They got rid of like the cat acts. And I was like, well, I've seen a couple cat acts in my life. But yeah, they had gotten rid of that for a long time to where they brought that back. No, and I understand. I the animal activist stuff.
I get you.
But
I
get that really, but that stuff too, that between that and the other things really hurt the circus bad. So, but really good stuff. It was really interesting. Some really cool stuff, highs and lows, a lot of, watching it was very fascinating. And for me, it's going to cause lots of mayhem. So it helped me out tremendously. Right. So
you
really
need to bring a chair and a whip with you.
I might. Yeah. That's not a bad idea, Tim.
Hey, I'm telling you, I'm your
or
lawyer.
A real lion.
Well, let's start with the chair and the whip.
Okay,
and then we'll move forward. As your lawyer, I can only advise you to go so far. At this point.
Thank
One
you.
thing at a time.
I appreciate it.
I'm conservative, Mr. Ben Harl. A little more conservative.
Someone's got to rein me in once in a while. So. Let's see. Okay, Tim, real fast. Okay, so I was doing some riff tracking. Okay. But I stumbled across one that I've been putting off for a while, and I'm not really sure why I did, because this might, No, Riff Track, Ice Cream Bunny, Santa Claus and Ice Cream Bunny is probably the crown jewel.
It is. It's the greatest of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, but I came across one that I'm gonna have to put up kind of high in my Riff Tracks life, and I haven't even finished it yet. But it's one called Birdemic.
Oh God, yeah. Is that the live one? Did you watch a live one or did you watch the studio? Oh, okay,
the live one.
With the director's actually in the audience.
Yeah,
he's in the audience. Yeah.
Oh man! Wow. I mean, it was one of those where I couldn't wait to get back to it, and I still have to finish. I'm almost to the end of it, but holy crap! I don't. Now, I made some old funny videos, Timo, with my clothes on. Okay, back in the day, right? With my clothes on. That some of these old like wrestling videos and other silly things back in the day that I go back and I can laugh at, but I didn't know people could actually act that stiff.
You talking about the actors or the birds?
The birds actually are the best actors in the film. And they're awful. And they don't even show up till the movies are oh God, it was like an hour or so in before the birds finally showed up.
Graphics by Atari.
Which were very uninspiring for sure. Right. Holy mackerel. I mean, I don't know why I kept putting it off. I thought, I don't know, man, maybe we'll see. I don't know. But then when I think I might have watched the trailer and I was like, oh, okay, here we go. All right. And then as I got into it, I was like, this couldn't be any worse of a film. I mean, it just is it's one of those you can watch without the riff tracks.
Right.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah. Just be mesmerized in the blandness. Oh my God.
Well, I saw it. They released that movie at Best Buys and Walmarts and stuff. It was called Birdemic, Shock and Terror. It was called,
Shock and Terror.
It looked like a Birds movie. It looked like the Birds. And I mean, I'm telling you, it was distributed widely. And I remember watching it going, you gotta be kidding me. What is this? You know what I mean? And I'm a movie fan. I'm a cinema fan. I understand how all this stuff happens. I don't understand how that happened. I'm completely guffawed by that. I mean, the director of that James Wing or Nung or whatever his name is. There was
James Wing.
Yeah. There's another one that Riff Tracks does, I think, called Jack and Julia. And that you should check that one out too, because it starts off kind of crappy. And then you start getting into it, and then it gets kind of better. Yeah.
I just seen it. That was oh my God. Yeah. That was the one with the line. He goes, she looks like someone's always trying to tell her that she can't leave with her cat or something. Can't go with her cat.
This guy makes awful movies, man. We've seen some awful movies at the conventions, and this guy takes the cake.
Man. I mean, it makes Plan 9 from Outer Space look like Lawrence of Arabia.
It makes the rough cut of Plan 9 from Outer Space look like Lawrence of Arabia.
Grizzly 2, huh?
Oh God, yeah. The concert.
The concert, yeah. So enjoyed it thoroughly. Oh man, I just had a blast.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this Tim, I got a couple things here, but I probably not. If we talk about all these, it's going to take way too long.
Right.
But a lot of people have been telling me about this Dark Side of Wrestling. Have you heard about this show? It's on Vice Land, which I think used to be. I don't know.
I've got it on my snooty Sling TV, but
it's a cool channel. But they really are pushing an agenda of sorts, which I just try to blank out when the commercials come on. I don't really care. Mm-hmm. Don't try to tell me what to do with my life. I tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But anyways,
Vice is an agenda channel, by the way, but that's okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Completely.
Oh yeah, they don't make no bones about it. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Mm-hmm. And I like the shows that they have on there. It's cool. They got some good stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is Dark Side of Wrestling, and it's documentaries or hour-long documentaries on the Dark Side of Wrestling. Huh. So yes, very good. I've had a lot of people, not just wrestling fans, tell me about this. So they go through. The first one is about Elizabeth.
Oh yeah,
and Macho Man. They have one about Bruiser Brody. Yeah,
I was just thinking about Chris Benoit this morning.
Oh wow!
And I don't know why I was thinking about Chris Benoit.
I bet you that one's going to end up being on there too.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. But so they did that. They did Bruiser Brody, the Montreal Screwjob.
Oh yeah.
And then I've watched the Von Erich one.
And
then, let me add this one. Sorry, Gino. Hernandez.
Oh, Gino Hernandez. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me add that one to my list here. All right. So these are good, Timo. Fascinating. Like, it's funny. Wendy's watched them with me, and we've watched all 5 of them so far.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did it over the weekend. And she was even like, and it's funny because Wendy's, I don't want to say she's hard. She can be kind of like, because I'll watch something, I'm over there crying, like, oh my God.
She's a tough audience sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. And she, and one of these actually even welled her up, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. And it was one that I was so surprised about. And I think she kind of gets it a little bit too with me doing the wrestling. Not that she's been there and stuff, but she hears me talk about it, sees the things that are happening to me in and out of the ring and the stuff that's happening on the television. And is it a slight? Is it not type stuff?
Right. Yeah.
Art sometimes imitates life.
Is it a work or a shoot? Right.
Bingo. So, but these have been really good, Timo.
So Viceland, then we got Dark Side of Wrestling. That sounds pretty good. So
so I'll touch on some of the other ones as we go along, Timo. I'll throw a little bit, but Bruiser Brody one. It was a good one.
I'm gonna get on that one.
for a guy called Bruiser Brody.
Right. I'm gonna get on that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll love it, buddy. Okay. And and it's good to see some of that old footage.
Mm-hmm. Wrestling documentaries are great for anybody because it's such a closed world that people don't have. Even people who, like myself, an amateur, somebody who knows a lot about it, just because I looked into it a lot and I was very interested in. I was way more interested in the behind the scenes than I was in front. Always more interested in what was going on behind the scenes. As
you're like that in the movies too, though.
I am like that in the movies too. Yeah. So it just fascinates me because I see a lot of parallels to what they do and to what I did playing music. Yeah, they call it being a gypsy. And me and Rhino have talked about this too, and I know you have too. Like that's kind of the term we use when you're basically driving around in your car and you're making your money town to town. That's a gypsy, and that's kind of what you're doing. So interesting.
Oh, your boy's on there, Jim Cornette. Oh.
I like him too. Give me that tennis racket.
He runs his yap a lot. So okay. So
all right, well, let's get to our official.
You better get away from me, Timo. Yeah, get away.
I'm about to get to our official films before you go all heel on me. I'm getting scared real quick. I might have to sue you, and you're my damn client. I don't know how to do that. So let's see here, Mr. Benhart. Let's get to our official films. Let's see. Let's go in chronological order. First up from 1978. We have Devil Dog, the Hound of Hell.
Oh, yes. I just got called the Hound of Hell today.
You sure did, Hellhound. Yes, so this was the made-for-television film that most of us kids watched. Now, it was aired October 31st of 1978. Okay. So maybe some of us might have been trick-or-treating when this was on, but I do remember seeing this movie a couple times on television.
See, I never saw this one. Really? But it vaguely was familiar. But I just didn't know like the whole story. Okay. But I kept saying, I was like, oh, this part, like the Devil Dog itself was really familiar.
Beautiful dog.
Yeah.
I love German Shepherds. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm fawning. Sorry.
No, when it actually turned into the Devil Dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's, it was vaguely familiar. I'm like, man, I have seen this before.
The dog looked like it could have been in our next official film when it turned into the Devil Dog, but we'll get to that here in a minute. So, so this was a made for television. Yeah. This was a made for television film. I remember this clearly, especially the part where I think it's hilarious to this day where Richard Crenna is being possessed by the dog while he's working on his lawnmower. And the lawnmower blade spinning, and it's making him put his hand into the blade, and it's like going on forever.
Longest scene.
I just remember I was a little kid going, will he put his hand into the blade or just walk away?
Yeah, something.
Let me get a movie guy give you a real short one sentence storyline synopsis here real quick. For no other reason than that's what we do. So here we go. All right.
That's how we do it.
A dog that is a minion of Satan terrorizes a suburban family.
That's it.
So there's some devil worshiper people who go and they get a German Shepherd and breed the German Shepherd, and I don't know, it has like a ton of puppies, like 10 of them or something.
Yeah,
that's a lot of puppies. And one of the puppies goes to Richard Crenna and his family. His family I think he went to the set of Witch Mountain and kidnapped his family because the girl and the boy are the brother and sister from the Witch Mountain movies.
Yeah, they showed up to return to Witch Mountain and took him off of that.
Yeah, right, exactly. He brushed by Christopher Lee and just grabbed him. And did that.
I'll tell you though, when I was a kid, I had the biggest crush on her. What's her name? The girl in this.
Kim Richards
from Witch Mountain.
Yeah, Kim Richards.
Tough Turf. I love this girl. She's a weirdo now. She's cuckoo monkey crazy now, man. She's one of those like housewives, like Houston, Dallas, housewives on one of the television shows, and she is batshit crazy, dude. I'm not kidding you.
I believe you.
And it's funny because I didn't even know that was her for the longest time. I'm like, that chick's crazy. And then I found out it was her. I was like, it was one of those things where I got on my knees like, no. You know what I mean? Like, no, not her. You know?
She was also the little girl in Assault on Precinct 13 that gets shot.
Yep. Yeah.
So interesting right there.
Yeah, she is right at the beginning of the walking to school or something. The guy shoots her in the car, right?
Well, she's with her dad. Yeah, she's with her dad, and they get ice cream. And the guy, and he turns around. The dudes turn around and shoot at her and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It starts off. It has Martine Bestwick, who I did not meet, but met the lady sitting next to her at Cinema Wasteland. She was there when Caroline Munro and Veronica Carlson. Them two were at Cinema Wasteland's Hammer ladies of Hammer. And then Martine Bestwick, who was the Satan worshipping woman who bought the dog and everything, she was the other young lady who was at Cinema Wasteland. So a little bit of a Hammer kind of thing going on there. But so it's really not thick on plot or story.
No,
it is a typical made for television movie from this era. Now, they were a little better, though. I mean, the movies from the 70s and very early 80s made for television were pretty damn good. Some of them were. Some of them were. We have movies like Don't Be Afraid of the Dark and things like that. Dark Night of the Scarecrow and things that are actually really good. They don't need to be theatrical movies to be as good as they are.
Right.
This has a pretty good cast. We got, like you said, Richard Crenna, Kim Richards. Ike Eisenman was a brother. So we have, I can't ever pronounce this lady's name again, but Yvette Mimieux, I guess, is the wife. And she's not bad to look at, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
She's a little cuckoo crazy too.
Right. Yeah, she gets a little out of it. We have,
she does.
We got R.G. Armstrong in it too. I like that guy. He's like one of those old cooter guys that he started off old in Hollywood and he only aged a number. Yeah. And stayed like that. And it was also directed by Curtis Harrington, who did Night Tide, which is a good movie, Queen of Blood, which everyone's seen, Killer Bees from '74. He also did What's the Matter with Helen and Who Slew Auntie Roo. He did those movies too. So it's a dog, and once the family gets the dog, things go crazy. Neighbor gets killed, neighbor's dog gets killed. The dog starts possessing the kids and the wife. For some reason, Richard Crenna's kung fu is just too strong. The dog just can't
break his mental kung fu-ery.
I'm not sure if Crenna marked his territory in his yard before the dog got there and it screwed up the dog's power. I really, really don't know. But that's it. Yeah. That's literally pretty much the movie. Yeah. And then it does get a little long-winded.
If they had just listened to The Maid right off the bat, The Maid knew what was going down, didn't she?
Yeah, I don't think Richard Crenna needed to go see the. Was that really a Native American?
It seemed like more like a guy that you'd play hacky sack with on acid somewhere.
Old Victor Jory. We've seen Victor Jory in other movies before.
Before he played some wacky guys. That's why I couldn't relate to it. I was like, that guy's wacky.
The first thing I thought of and wrote down is this is a guy who's after Harley's chokeweed.
Yeah, exactly.
He's one of those guys. He's talking to the Bigfoot on the chokeweed. And that's the thing. This movie, the scene with the lawnmower is the one that is the stuck in my head. It's the like when we did the Sentinel. It's the scene with the guy walking across the room and the flashlight and stuff. That's what I remember. The ending, this movie just kind of sinks. It kind of tanks once he gets to Victor Jory, the Native American.
Oh yeah,
you think that's where we get interesting, but it almost looks like they're trying to pad it out to fill the time.
Yeah,
a bit. And he's.
Oh, I was very disappointed in that character. I was like, what?
Yeah, and he doesn't do much for him. Really either. Man. And then basically the devil dog turns into like a blacker dog with like a feather boa.
Yeah. And horns.
Around his neck, basically. Yeah, and some horns and stuff and some glowing eyes. And it's only one shot that's superimposed in other shots throughout strewn about the film. This is one of the films that was very popular in television when it came out. It has not held up like Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. It has not held up like
no.
Dark Knight Scarecrow. No, it hasn't held Salem's Lot. It was up there with those films, but it just didn't hold up. But it is interesting to see for the cast.
For sure.
I love German Shepherds, so I'll watch a German Shepherd for an hour and a half. I don't care if he's offing people. Yeah, I'm rooting for the German Shepherd, you know. The cast, Crenna plays it so straight that it actually adds to the campiness of the film.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Because the whole cast is very straight in this. I mean, they're really trying.
Yeah. Well, because like the dog turns the family kind of against the father. Mm-hmm. Like he's kind of loosely possessing the family ish, right? Because
it is. Yeah, it's turned him against him and stuff, and he doesn't know what to do. He goes and sees his doctor, and he doesn't know what to do, and the doctor thinks he's paranoid, of course, because he sounds like he's paranoid. You know? That's kind of an awkward scene.
Your
too.
Dog? Yeah. What now? Yeah.
It's kind of an awkward scene. My family. Because he goes to the doctor and he tells the doctor, he's like, "You're fine." He goes, "Well, okay, I'll go home then." He's like, "You didn't call me for an emergency checkup because you think you're fine. Tell me what's going on." "Well, my dog has turned my family against me. Have you seen medical help? I'm here." You know, kind of thing. But there is a lot of tropes. There's a lot of overused things in this, and the dog is actually probably more menacing when it doesn't turn into the devil's dog with looks more like Cher in Halloween. Like it has Elvira, which is going to be our next film. But go ahead.
At the end of Elvira, like there's it not to like the way end. It did look a little bit menacing there, but for the most part, it's just it's I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. It's really weird.
I don't know what to do with this movie because it's like. And it's kind of a classic. I'm going to do this, a very light, just because it hasn't held up quite as well. There's not much story to it. I mean, people listening to this might be going, well, what's there to the movie? There's nothing. The dog just does little creepy things. There's like a scene where Yvette Mimieux, or whatever her name is, she's sitting like she's exhausted. She sits in a chair and she looks across the room, and the dog is sitting across the room looking at her. Yeah. She puts her hand back over her eyes and then looks where the dog was again, and he's closer to her this time, sitting down. Yeah. There's like little scenes like that go on that really don't do a whole lot to make your pulse race at all.
No.
And right in the center of it is a hilarious scene where Corinna's trying to not put his hand in the fan blade, the blades, I mean, the lawnmower blades, and it's stuck in my head. He's like, oh no, and it's I don't know.
I feel you.
Yeah, so that's what I think. It's kind of a mild little. I get it's not the worst movie ever. I like the cast. I think it's neat and everything. But boy, I was just really disappointed how well it did not hold up.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up real well. It's one of those films. I don't know.
Lazy writing.
Yeah, and it was a little too long. And I think you were right on the padding. And I was okay with it up until really they he went to meet his spiritual guru or the Native American.
Victor Jory. Yeah.
It was awful. I was like, that was such a letdown because remember the cab driver let him out of the car. He's like, well, where'd I go? And he's like, oh, he'll find you. And I'm thinking, oh, this guy, this guy's going to be some. I'm like, that guy? I'm like, I thought that was that guy you passed on the way going somewhere.
You thought that guy was going to take him to the real guy, you know?
Yeah, I did. I was like, wait, what? That guy? Oh man,
this was no Indian chief from Prophecy. This was
No.
this was not that wise old coot. This wasn't that at all. No, this looked like more of a soupy sales type of guy than anything else. Yeah,
soupy sales at college. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was dumb. I don't know. It took a lot away from it.
It did.
I was like,
yeah.
And then I don't know. The only part that I really, there was some parts where like he tried to take the dog out and shoot it, and it wouldn't work. And then, but you knew as soon as he left the dog there. That you knew as soon as he got back, the dog was going to be there. And,
right.
Yeah, but that was mildly suspenseful. Like when he flew. Where did he fly? Did he fly to go see? What's his name?
Yeah, he did. He did. He flew to go see the Native American. Yeah. Who he got from his cab driver. His cab driver told him, "What?"
Yeah.
Okay.
That was convenient.
Yeah,
Very convenient.
Was. Yeah.
So then then when he flies back, is on the drive home, the dog's there. Like, oh, okay. Other than that, I mean, it's just that's very mild stuff.
Right.
So,
yeah.
For me, at least.
Right.
I mean, that was the only stuff that I really got out of it, I guess.
You had to really, really care about these characters to get any kind of jolt from this film because the dog wasn't that scary. I mean, it wasn't. There wasn't really that much going on. So what are you going to do, Mr. Ben Harley?
I can't poop on. I can't poop on it, but it's just one of those.
Yeah, I feel the same way, but I just feel like I have to, just because it doesn't hold up, I have to poop a little bit.
I'm glad you did.
Just a little squirt, little shard on it, just a little bit on there. So let's move on to the next official little film, Mr. Ben Harley. This dog, when it gets demoned out, looked like it was picked right out of this film, actually. We have from 1988, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Yes.
A little more fun, a little different here. So, let me get out Movie Guy again real quick and give you the short storyline synopsis here for Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Upon arriving in a small town where she has inherited a rundown mansion, a famous horror hostess battles an evil uncle and townspeople who want her burned at the stake. Okay. So, yes, Elvira has a uncle she's never met who she's, of course, the reading of the will. And she gets left a house she doesn't want, a rundown house, and a cookbook.
Yes.
The cookbook just happens to be a book of spells, a powerful book of spells. So her estranged uncle is some kind of warlock, demon-y kind of guy, and he wants the cookbook. And hilarity ensues from there. Now, this is Elvira. Cassandra Peterson, of course, is Elvira. And the two movies back in the day. She did this one and Elvira's Haunted Hills. And I have to tell you that, just to start this off talking about it, I was pretty surprised at both of these movies, how I enjoyed them. I'm not a big Elvira. It's like Svengoolie. I like Svengoolie because I like the movies he plays. It's neat to watch a horror host. I feel nostalgic about it, but I don't necessarily think he's even mildly funny. I think he's smart with the movies. I respect the hell out of his knowledge. So and don't get me wrong, it's not that. And I enjoy watching the show. I did not have Elvira in my local market. My television market didn't have Elvira.
No,
I did see some Elvira around. Actually, when I would visit Cleveland, my cousin, they had Elvira close to you, but they... Yeah. So here we are with this. But I just never thought she was an eyeful. Oh. Yeah. I mean, she's not the hottest lady on the face of the earth like when Cassandra Peterson isn't, but when she gets done up like that, she's basically taking everything a nerd would want his girlfriend to do and just making herself look like that. And you're just like, you're showing me the right things. You're
at the
perfect.
Right time.
Yeah. What's funny too is she's actually a burn victim. So she has like burns on her shoulders and her neck and stuff. And so she's covering it with her hair.
Okay.
Yeah. So she says, I'm showing you the good parts. Is what she's saying and stuff like that. But she is gorgeous. And she's pretty funny. I mean, really, honestly. And that's what really took me by surprise. The movie's written well, directed well, and it's got a good cast and everything. I mean, and the director did Easy Money. He was a Saturday Night Live, James Signorelli. Yeah, he was a Saturday Night Live guy. Did a lot of Saturday Night Live, but he also directed Easy Money.
I like that. It's a not bad movie.
It is not. It's a great movie, actually.
Yep.
So that the whole movie basically is gags with her trying to get the house fixed up, and of course the local male population has no problem,
Yeah.
helping her, and has no problem showing off the goods to repay them for all of their help. Interestingly enough, Brad Pitt read for one of those kids' roles, and she said that he was too good looking. That he was, it was like, and she wrote "yummy" next to him, but said he was too good looking that Elvira would not go with Bob if Brad Pitt was around. Interesting, Bob is played by Daniel Green. If you've ever heard of the movie Hands of Steel,
I think so. Yeah,
it's him. Yeah, the big muscle Malone guy with not much upstairs. Yeah.
No.
Good cast though. The Edie McClurg as Chastity Pariah is a lady. Everybody knows her from. Everybody knows her from. Wasn't she in Ferris Bueller?
Yep.
Yeah, so everybody knows her from that and everything. She was fun in it. Chastity Pariah is a great name for her. Yeah. She's, of course, the conservative, uptight, older lady that's not happy that Elvira is around. Not many of the older, uptight women were very happy when Elvira moved in. Their husbands tend to notice her a little bit. Yeah. We've got Jeff Conaway from Taxi is one of the thugs.
Yeah, I love him. He's always been one of my favorites.
Yes. I think our good pal, Mr. Danny Hicks, knew him. He unfortunately...
Oh, really?
Yeah, he passed away, unfortunately. I think he...
he did.
Not sure how he did, but he did. And then Kurt Fuller is Mr. Glotter in the film. He was the Jerky McJerkington from Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
He's another 80s, 90s dick, just in any movie he's in.
He plays a really good one.
He does. This is a general late 80s comedy. There's not a whole lot, but it's fun because it kind of sticks to it. And Cassandra Peterson, and forget we're guys, I think she's magnetic. And what I like about her is that she's showing that a different era in women's lib. Let's put it that way. She's a powerful woman. She's using her stuff, to kind of to lead around dopey dudes like us. So it's like, you want power, just do that. And we're like, and I'm not sure if I quite phrased that correctly, but it was a different era. And she was a liberated woman at that point, so it was different, but it's kind of fun to watch. It's fun to watch the guys kind of fall apart around her, except Bob, who Bob's a little shy. He's a little shy.
Bob's a little drippy.
He lifted more weights than ladies. Let's put it that way. It's a little drippy. That's a good way to put him. Yeah. There's a local plumber company around here that, do you sleep with a drip? Call this plumber company.
That's the best.
Yeah, we'll take care of it for you. So, but it's just a funny movie. There's a lot like a Saturday the 14th type of plot where there's just something spooky that somebody's trying to get to, and it's a comedy of errors, in a way, and stuff like that. But it is fun. I got a kick out of when the whole town of all the guys were helping Elvira do the house, and the house looks like a candy cane, basically. All the colors are mixed and matched and stuff. So, but it's good. It's funny. Now, I think it's a good movie, and it's definitely a better movie than the Elvira's Haunted Hills, but I think Elvira's Haunted Hills was funnier. I think the next movie was actually funnier. And this movie was surprisingly humorous.
I can't remember if I've seen that one or not.
There's a Harlequin romance guy, like a Fabio guy, who's voiced over by like a Dudley Do-Right character. I don't get you, Elvira, like that. It's hilarious. But this is a good, fun movie. It
is.
It's not squeaky clean.
But there's the one line in there.
Yeah, but I could still watch this with my kid.
Yeah. Oh no, but it's just some funny stuff. Like he drops the one thing, or he's putting up the stuff on the marquee, drops it, hits her on the head. And says, how's your head? She says, "No, I've had no complaints so far."
Yeah, that's good.
And it's just one of those, This movie, at first, I was like, oh man, like the first 10 minutes, I was like, man, I remember this being better. And I was like, kind of groaning, but it got better as it went along. It did a lot better and better. Yeah, exactly. And it is what it is, but I did enjoy going back and seeing it. It was, I haven't seen this movie in many, many moons, my friend.
Right. Well, then let's be fair. I mean, you'll forgive a movie for 10 minutes to look at her.
Oh, sure.
And I'm not even really being that silly by saying, I mean, she's striking to look at anyway, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
And so you'll kind of go through, you'll go with this for a while, and then you really do warm up to her. You know, like, and that was where I was surprised that I warmed up to her. I never liked her a whole lot. I liked her shtick and I liked how she looked, but I never really got anything. And then watching both of these movies, I was shocked. I was surprised and pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed both of them. And this one's really no exception. Being a comedy, the plot is what it is. So anything is just us laughing at gags and stuff. But I tell you what, go back. This is streaming on Amazon. Check it out again. Go back and watch this movie, especially if you just want to laugh and kind of get away. A little escapism for you. Yeah. It holds up as far as being humorous.
I think so.
Yeah, it does. It holds up way better than like Devil Dog does. You know, this movie holds up. It's fun, and it was a nice thing to watch during I know you're stressed out at home, just doing a lot of work, and we're clearly stressed out too. It was a nice thing to watch. Too. It was uplifting. Let's put it that way. It's fun. Now it is a little long-winded. They do have a song and dance number at the end, which is a joy to look at. For certain reasons, but
it's awful.
And Cassandra Peterson pushed to have that in there. She really wanted that in the movie, and the execs didn't really want it. But then when they saw the movie without it, they liked it so much that they let her do it because she did a good job. So they gave her what she wanted. And look, Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder fought tooth and nail over putting on the Ritz. For Young Frankenstein. So this is like one of those moments. Well, this didn't work out quite as well. It's a lot of pasty shaking and kind of jiggling and her showing off her body.
That part was okay. As the rap part, that's awful.
Yeah, that was hard. That showed its age. That showed its year was right on its sleeve when they did that, and that was painful then. That was painful to see. To see people do that then, but it was much harder to see it now. You know, in a way too. Interestingly, though, apparently she had a violent flu while they filmed that because they had to reset up the whole thing just to shoot the end.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because it was added or whatever. So, but I could have done without the end. But there really wasn't much of an ending besides that. So I think they just wanted to show her off a little bit more. You know, I'm not going to complain. I've seen where it was. I remembered a lot more clearly than the Devil Dog ending. so there you go for it. I'm going to give this movie a mild grape ape up. Not a huge one or nothing, but a mild one. I think I like the second one better. But I did enjoy it, and it does hold up pretty well, all things considering. Yeah.
I'm going to give it a same thing, Timo. Mild grape ape up. I did enjoy it. It's a fun movie to watch. It is, you know, and I like Elvira enough to, you know, give her a little time. So
you'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
That's right.
So, all right. Excellent. So, all right, let's get out of here, Mr. Ben Harley. Yeah. Not sure what we're doing next week, but I'm sure it will be absolutely exciting. We are heading right toward Retro Invasion weekend, May 31st to June 2nd, Cleveland, Ohio. Look it up online. Look it up on Facebook, Twitter. I think even Instagram, which I don't have because I'm too old and wave canes at people that have Instagram. Until then, Mr. Ben Harley, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com. Your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.